Welcome back. Race Amity Club at North Andover High, another one of our panel discussions. My name is Mr. Sheehy. I'm the History Department Coordinator. I'm going to turn it over to a couple of our students and allow them to introduce themselves. Supraja?
Hi, my name is Supraja Ganti. I'm the president of Race Amity Club. Eamon?
Hi, I'm Eamon. I'm Eamon O'Carroll. Like Supraja, I'm also a senior, and I am a member of the Race Amity Club. Anika?
Hi, I'm Anika. I'm also a rising senior, and I'm a member of the Race Amity Club. Shruti.
Hi, I'm Shruti, also a senior and member of Race Amity.
So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about a Time magazine article about Asian Americans and the thought that they're the model minority. And I thought it was a really powerful piece. And from some of the discussions we've had amongst members of the club, I thought it would be a really important kind of jumping off point in kind of sharing some of your experiences being who you are and that, and I'm going to turn it over to you to like you guys to talk a little bit about that. Sure, do you want to?
Sure. So overall, I just wanted to go over like what the model minority myth is. So it kind of targets, it's like the system of targeting Asian immigrants and kind of displaying them as the model of how all immigrants should kind of act, how they should assimilate to white culture, how they should make money in America, that kind of situation, just how they should overall act. And it's kind of used as a display on, and it kind of harms like the Black community because it's saying that, oh, everyone should act like this. And it's always used as like a wedge between different minorities. So that's just kind of the overall what it is.
So one of the things I want to talk about is assimilation in kind of this expectation to conform to things. And I want to get your experiences on that. Anika, you want to talk about that first?
Yeah, sure. So growing up, I moved to India when I was about 3, and then I came back here. Obviously, I was born here. I just went there for a couple of years and then I came back. But moving back here was really difficult because, I came with an Indian accent and I had this like big culture that I was moving away from and I wanted to stay connected to it. But often I would get made fun of for my accent in class and other parts like of my culture, like food and the smell. And that kind of made me want to hide it growing up. And I think it also made me less confident overall just to speak. So I think that over time, I definitely have also hid the fact that I dance, Bollywood dance, and that's a big part of me. So it's kind of sad that I haven't been able to, or I wasn't able to freely like speak about it without feeling embarrassed, even though I shouldn't feel embarrassed about it at all. But I hope, but like as I think about it more, I'm able to talk about it more easily. Especially because of dance, it just makes me talk about it more easily. So I just feel like we shouldn't have to feel embarrassed about it. We should just be able to talk about it. Shruti?
Yeah, I kind of have a similar story, but it's more like I was more open about my culture up until like 5th grade. And then in middle school is where I kind of lost it because I just wanted to fit in with everyone. And I didn't want to be seen as like the Indian girl, and that's why I like acted like everybody else and I didn't want to share anything Indian about me. And like I know Clarence said this on one of our calls. He said he feels like he has to hide his Asian side, and then his white side he has to like keep them separate and like has to act differently at school. And I definitely feel like a lot of us can relate to that, especially like in middle school. But like Anika said, dance has kind of helped me grow out of that, especially because I kind of realized that people are willing to hear about it. And as I talked to more people about it, more teachers at school, I even mentioned it too, they would always like reciprocate interest. And then I felt like, oh, people aren't seeing me just for the color of my skin, or aren't going to say I'm too Indian just because I do Bollywood dancing. So that kind of helped me talk more about my culture.
Supraja, any thoughts?
Anika and Trudy, I think you guys brought up really, yes. Yeah, Anika and Trudy, you guys brought up really, really good points. And I had very similar experiences as you guys did, but also as a kid, I moved around a lot, not only in the States, but in other countries too. So actually I moved here when I was around 6 years old. And I actually went to different schools up until I came to North Andover. So other communities that I lived in were primarily very white. And one, I didn't really have anyone I had to relate to. So I couldn't really like talk about my culture with anybody. And I felt like Trudy and Nika, I had to be like everyone else to fit in, because when my mom used to pack me this amazing lunch, people would think it was weird. They wouldn't sit with me because it smelled funny. And I think that it was almost like a very powerful experience, because I think those kind of moments kind of shaped how I acted outside of my own house later on. But I feel like when I joined this club, I could talk more with my peers about who I really am, what I do, and just kind of, I guess, learn that my identity is not just American and not just Indian, not just a singer, not just a student, but I feel like this club and just my time in high school kind of really comes to show that I'm not just one thing, but I have so many identities that are a part of me. And I guess embracing and sharing all of them is really, really important, not only for us to feel like ourselves, not feel trapped, but also for other people to learn and to educate them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a big part of it is also that a lot of us try to hide it because we think that will solve, I guess, our issue of not fitting in. But I think it's important for us to share our experience, because by sharing our experience, more people will understand, or that's the hope at least. And that's how more people will become more accepting of our culture, and that'll allow us to feel more, I guess, free to express ourselves and show our identity, all of our identities.
And
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's very telling that all three of you have had such similar experiences compared to someone like me, who's the son of a white Irish immigrant, who I was never thought of as different so much as I was just more Irish than everyone else. So, St. Patrick's Day, we would bring in loaves of soda bread, give them to teachers. People would see me, they'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" They'd be interested, they'd be intrigued, but it was never anything like I had to hide it. It was always just, I'm the same as you, but I'm just a little bit more than all of you, because so many people around me were white, because this town is overwhelmingly white. So I think it's a very fascinating contrast between our different experiences.
I think what you guys said was pretty powerful, in that not feeling fully comfortable and feeling different. And I feel that one of the major goals of this club is to break down some of that, and I think what you guys said was really important, and this is a really important topic. Shruti, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I just liked how Supraja used the word educate, because I think that really brings about like what we're trying to do here and what the club kind of stands for. And also I've like really recognized that through my journey, is that if you just like say one thing and someone shows that like they're interested in it, it just makes you feel more comfortable saying more. And another thing is that this is one thing I recognize for Bollywood dancing. A lot of people don't even know that there's a whole collegiate circuit. And basically, just like college dance teams, regular dance teams like ballet, jazz, tap, there's also competitive collegiate Bollywood dance teams, such as Harvard has a team. I know Duke has a team. A bunch of very prestigious schools have teams. And it's just kind of hidden, and no one really knows about it. But I think that just comes down to educating. Like if you know something and you know that a lot of people don't know about it, it's like kind of your duty to share it, just to better society, I'd say.
I think another point I wanted to bring up, I was reading in the article how the author talked about how he went to a primarily white private high school, and how the few Asian students that enrolled there, they would all like form their own little group, and they would stay to the side. and kind of almost separate themselves from the rest of the student body. And I'm guilty of this. I don't know if Anika and Trudy agree, but in middle school, I think that because I felt so left out, and I was like, oh, like a lot of my other Indian friends, we would all just like kind of gather together. Like I know my whole neighborhood, it's like 80% of us are South Asian. And maybe that's because our parents who immigrated here wanted to have a community where they felt like they belonged. But I personally feel like that's a mistake, because us just keeping our culture within the confines of people who are similar to us, I guess it's static, like there's no progress that's happening, there's no learning, there's no educating, we're not spreading our knowledge to other people. And I think that's so important, kind of almost going out of our comfort zone. I think Mr. Sheehy mentioned the word comfort before, which I really liked, how we felt uncomfortable sharing our culture, and going out of our comfort zone, that's when we feel like really make a difference and make an impact. So I think that's a point that really stood out to me from the article that I related to.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that too. I always, like, when I was younger, at least, I used to find it easier to become friends with an Asian than other people. I'm not sure. I don't even know why. It's probably just because I felt more comfortable. But the more, you talk to other people about your own culture, the more accepting they are of it. And you can see how, like, amazed they are by it. So it kind of shows you that there's nothing to be embarrassed of. So it's definitely our job to tell people our experience.
Well, I think you guys did an amazing job tonight. This was a really good panel. Thank you for sharing all of your thoughts. Tune in again. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and all kinds of other things. See you guys soon. Bye now.